Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to Lyca. It's an incremental game about regrowing a wasteland where you're playing as a dog in an empty field and you're growing grass. It's weird, but it's kind of neat. I had a lot of fun with the demo a little while ago, and it is finally coming out on Steam, so I figured, sure, let's give it a shot. So, entire premise of what I'm doing is just planting as much grass as I can before this fills out, and then we want to run through the grass to grow flowers. Are they flowers, or are we just, like, imbuing the... I actually have no idea. Oh, right, it gets harder as we go along, too. So now we've got some activation range and no other resources, so I can't do too much. But that's fine. But this means that, yeah, now instead of just one single thing... There we go. I actually forget what leveling up does. Because it's not a prestige thing, so I don't quite know. Oh, it just gives me an experience point, which I can use to buy another bit of tech. So extra movement speed, extra energy points, or activation range. I'm just gonna go for the activation range for the time being. I guess I could have gotten the movement speed in retrospect. Yeah, we want to grow as much grass as we can to some degree, but we absolutely want to make sure that we're getting as much of the blue as possible. And yeah, I'll give myself a little bit of movement speed, because we're going to need it. Yeah, I really like this kind of rash of weirdo incremental games. Ones that just do something completely different from what I would normally do. I don't know what I'd normally expect. I guess part of it is weird incremental games that specifically, you know, maybe use older ideas, ones that are familiar, stuff like asteroids or let's see, faster activation time, but we don't have enough resources. We gotta level up for that. Extra strength wouldn't be bad, but I guess I'll just give myself some extra energy just so I last a little bit longer. The problem is lasting a little bit longer isn't the most practical, because the further I go out, the harder the soil gets. So like here, for example, it didn't fill in everything. And I'm just gonna re-green all of this, because I think we level up from planting grass. I guess there's no reason for me to hang out on a corner, was there? There we go. So we get our level up point. We can increase our activation speed by a little bit. And we definitely want to punch through harder soil. Yeah, it is weird, but like, that makes it cool, in a way. I'm a sucker for weird games. Games that aren't like anything else in my library. I know this just ends up being kind of this like bizarro arcadey experience, but that gives it an appeal that, say, like, yet another first-person shooter will never have. Not to say that like first-person shooters are strictly bad by any measure. It's just one of those where I've played a lot of those, and until they start doing funky things or weird things, there's not much I can do with it. Let's see, energy armor, flat energy armor. We'll go for the reduced decay, though I'm going to need other stuff. What I really need more than anything else is skill points. So I think my strategy to get a bunch of grass down, then clear it out, is the correct one. Maybe. Because the problem is I'm going to need just like a bunch of points. Okay, cool. Yeah, part of the mild problem here is every time I break soil, it hurts me, kind of. But we need to break soil for experience points, which is harder. Let's just go more strength. Because yeah, we want to increase my activation speed a lot. So I can really just like gun out as much grass as I can get. Though I could probably use some energy armor, maybe. Yeah, let's just go until we're like at a certain level of health. And And then we're good to go. Perfect. Yeah, do we want more activation speed? We do, and it unlocks something else further out. Let's change this. Controls. Controller, WASD, and mouse. I was wondering about this. Okay, energy armor. Let's just go flat energy armor. So that means that when I break ground, it doesn't hurt me quite as much. The degeneration will get me eventually. There's no way around that. But at least I can make it so that breaking through hard ground isn't as overall damaging. Okay, let's take our time, because we do want to get as much blue as we possibly can. Eventually, I'm just going to be swimming through the grasslands like nobody's business. But at least for the moment, I'm going to need as much as I can get. The juice? I am out of juice. Dang. Sucker for juice. 1% chance for sunflowers to spawn. So rather than buy an upgrade, we want to pick that one up. Because being able to get sunflowers means we can get the yellow resource, which means we can get some other stuff. And we can have kind of parallel progress going on. Okay, that's probably good enough. Let's just... if I end up breaking some extra ground to get grass, so be it. Oh, this is so much more comfortable with keyboard and mouse. I apologize, the last video I'd put out on this, I'd actually not noticed the alternate control schemes. And boy, they would have helped. Okay, so what do we got? So extra drop from sunflowers, faster sunflower drops, more spawn rate. Alright, let's see. Probably just give myself some energy points. Now, I don't remember how sunflowers spawn. It's either for me passing over, or they just spawn on regular grass. Okay, they just spawn on regular grass. Tricky part is we have to wait for them to drop resources. So that's going to be a little slower. Okay. Hopefully there's a way I can increase the collection radius. Or the grass interaction radius. It requires 50. Oof. And these are all extremely pricey. Okay, what else do we have? Reduce ground toughness and extra experience when destroying ground. Big stuff. Because, yeah, being able to get more experience on a per ground basis would help a lot. I don't know why, but I'm immediately reminded of Terra Nil. I think they have more content planned coming out. I'll have to check that out. I know it's kind of nothing to do with this, but I'm a huge sucker for any game that involves repairing or, like, healing an environment. Especially one that has been, like, marked by pollution or something like that. I don't know, there's just something extremely charming about it. And I find it's one of the only genres of, like, game that can have a conflict that doesn't necessarily need to be combat. And so I'm frequently drawn to that kind of setting, idea. And it tends to be a little bit more, like, wholesome feeling. Okay, let's go for the extra experience. Boy, that was pricey. Faster activation time? I don't have anything else. Unlock idle mode. Huh. That's a new one. There we go. Not a whole lot of sunflowers here. Tragically. We're getting an amount. And yeah, we seem to be punching through the ground, no problem. I don't know what the point where I should stop and go smell the flowers would be. Probably here. And yeah, I'll just try and... There we go. If I run right between two sections of grass... So I need to actually make sure I grab the sunflower bits. So what is this one? Extra resources when leveling up. Ooh. We need to save up for that. Let's see. Bigger sunflower spawn rate. I guess I'm going to go for the activation size. Unfortunately, that only... I don't actually know if that really gave me that extra size that I was looking for. But yeah, considering leveling up gets progressively more expensive, I think we need to beeline upgrades for sunflowers, so we can get more of them and more resources out of them if we can. Did not get much for sunflowers on this one though. Like, actually kind of bleak. I'm just gonna run a little bit aimlessly here. Just to get resources, but not enough. Let's see. So I need 500 for that one. Oof. Okay. So what's the point where I start running back through the grass? Because yeah, we need to get more blue. I guess the main question is, how long does it take for me to fill in one of these fields? I'll add one more row. Not like we have much for sunflowers, tragically. Yeah, sometimes I can get 2 bushes per path. Sometimes I'm stuck with, like, only 1. Maybe if I was doing, like, just a little bit of a wiggle-waggle. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah, just shy. It's fine. Hopefully we just get a little bit luckier with our sunflower spawns for next time. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Because I'm really not going to be able to do enough with the sunflowers for at least a little bit. Yeah, because that's 2. This is 1. There we go. Because, yeah, there's a more efficient action. It's just lining up. It's more efficient technically, but only if I can get the lineup correct. Okay. Do I have... Yes, I do. So, sunflower spawn rate? I think so. Then we have Howl. Periodic Pulse damages ground and activates grass, which I wasn't impressed with previously. However, maybe it's better? Okay, that double spawn rate is going to make a difference. And we already have 3 sunflowers. 4. 5. I wonder if I'd actually be better off with really long setups. Because I don't know how the hard ground exactly works. Whether it's based on distance or what exactly. Because it wouldn't be the worst idea for me to have, like, just a really long runway that I just run back over after a little while. It's probably just work on the spawn rate. We're up to 76. Yeah, kind of goofed this. Okay. Not a lot of sunflowers. My logic is, if it's a very long pathway, I can try and guarantee that I'm in the, like, spot where I'm getting both patches simultaneously. Yeah, so it kind of works. It's not great, I think, is the ultimate answer. It wasn't filling in quite fast enough for me. But that's okay. But yeah, this mostly works. Because this way if I'm just here, we don't have to worry about it. There we go. Yeah, if I'm just here, we don't have to worry about it touching too much. Nor breaking ground, which hurts me the most. I think eventually later, especially once we get the seed bombs, it's not as worth it. I don't actually think this is worth it. I think it was an interesting idea and concept, but I think main goal should be to just get as much grass on the ground and flowers out as possible, rather than messing around with kind of weird pseudo-efficient placements that end up wasting more of my time than helping. Also wonder if there's some logic on how the sunflowers go down. Well, considering sunflower growths? Resources? Yellow resources are like my big limiting factor here. It kind of worked. I'm just gonna max that out, just because. Okay, so 700 for that one. I need 53 more. Well, with his activation speed, I can, just run now. Not have to worry about whether or not I'm... I no longer have to worry about lining myself up, at the very least. There we go. I just really wish my hitbox is just big enough that I'd always be activating 2 sets of grass simultaneously. But I recognize why I can't, kind of. Yeah, let's just get as much yellow as we can. We got a decent amount of blue. It's not that great, but it's enough. Okay. There we go. And I know eventually I get stuff like seed bombs that go absolutely nuts. Unless things have changed. I mean, there's a very real possibility the demo that I played last time, you know, a lot of that stuff either got rebalanced out or, you know, nerfed or modified in some way so that I can't just rely 100%. on what I've already done. Yeah, I want to make sure I get as much sunflower as I can. Oh, we got plenty. Perfect. Okay, so let's go up here. So now whenever I level up, we don't have to worry about it. Extra resources when running through the grass. Ooh, that's good. That's also pricey. Oh, plus resources when running through the grass. So that... There we go. I guess if I had gotten that earlier, we might have actually gotten some things a little faster. I was just single-minded. But I'm not necessarily going to beat myself up over my decisions. Curious what idle mode is like. I'm assuming the dog just runs fully automatically. Just runs through the grass at its leisure. It's probably not as efficient as if you're controlling it. I'm sure like a script could actually figure it out, but eh. Some more damage to ground. I want that, but that's pricey. Let's probably just go for a bunch of low-hanging fruit upgrades. We got the big one that we need. Everything else now is just gravy. Mainly, we wanted the double level up resources because... let's see. We wanted the double level up resources largely just because... leveling gets harder and slower. So like that last level is 6,500. This next level is going to be 8,200. Eventually I'm going to go so fast that it doesn't matter anymore. But it's still going to take longer, and so the sooner I can get it so that that is providing double resources, the better. Also seems like running diagonal might actually be oddly enough more efficient. Okay, faster activation time. I mean, some of those are good. Let's grab Howl. And yeah, ooh, these are pricey. I think that's why I never used them previously. Okay, big activation means a lot of coverage. Yeah, the Howl isn't amazing. I think part of the problem is, like, fresh grass stuff that I just put down doesn't get activated by the Howl. Okay. Probably grab resources now. I should probably prioritize zigzagging through all of the sunflowers more than anything else. Because we want to boost my resources per grass walked through. Let's see, 210 for that one. 500 energy. Okay, I'll pick that up. Do a little bit of damage to ground. I'll just snag those. Okay. I think we're already doing enough damage to ground to begin with, but I'm sure that's probably going to be more helpful in later prestige levels, which we haven't hit yet. Because I think you pretty much have to regreen the entire area first. Unless it's a time thing, I forget. Some of these games make it a time thing, some of these games do other stuff. Okay, do we start grabbing stuff? I think we do. Because I think that degeneration gets worse over time. Yeah, is definitely speeding up. So we want to make sure we grab as many of these as we can. Only immediate problem is pickup radius leaves an amount to be desired. But that's okay. Every once in a while I notice some of these flowers aren't actually outputting as much stuff. Though I guess it could also be hidden by the grass. I was hoping to get up to 210. I think we're going to just end up being a little shy. 202. Not bad though. And actually we're weirdly close to prestige. Resource drop rate from sunflowers, 100%. Okay. In that case, I'm actually going to give myself the movement speed. Because now we get double from sunflowers. So if I got almost 200 the last time, then I will probably get 300, 400 this time around. Assuming that I'm lucky with my sunflowers and don't waste all of my energy just running around here. Man, I'm a host of maladies. It's kind of nothing, it's just like allergies and other minor ailments, but it's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a me getting older thing or me just being extremely unlucky. I'm just sitting here just slightly stuffy and being like, I am a plague-riddled man. And it's weird. This is gonna sound kind of first world problems-y, but one of the interesting things I run into with like YouTubing is there's a constant pressure to get work done. You know, any day that I take off fully is a day where like no progress has been made. Whereas like a day where I get like 4 videos done, that's like half a week's worth of videos and I can kind of sit back and relax, and it's kind of this push and pull. But I find I'm incentivized to never take sick days unless I absolutely need them. It used to be way worse. Like when I was doing the daily episode Let's Play stuff, that was brutal. Because, you know, missing a day meant missing an episode, which actually meant like people would stop watching. You could notice if I took a day off, the YouTube algorithm would somewhat kind of push people away. Wow, we got a lot of stuff on this one. The YouTube algorithm would like stop recommending it or stop showing up in people's feeds. It was kind of vague and indistinct how it worked. It was one of those where it's like, yeah, you did not want to miss a day at all. Wow, that was a ton of stuff. Okay, maxed that out. I think I'm going to get that before I go for the extra sunflower stuff. A little bit of experience, ground toughness, some more flat energy armor. Movement speed. Here we go. What's this one? Ooh. Magnum range to collect resources from flowers, but I need roses, which I think is up straight up from here. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff that kind of comes with working for yourself that I don't think I was ever fully prepared for. And, like, again, very much first world problem. I love my job. I love what I do. And I would not trade it for anything. I mean, like, maybe if I could be a famous board game designer, I think that would be cool. But I feel like that has its own challenges that I don't even know about. And also I'd have to actually start making board games, which in and of itself is time consuming. Yeah, distribution is the big scary part. Like every once in a while I get an email from like one of the Kickstarters that I've backed, and it's talking about like, yeah, distribution, production, you know, talking to the factory, getting shipping in order, and I'm just like, oh, this actually does sound kind of like hell. Especially when, you know, current events going on where it's just like, oh yeah, shipping is now going to be like twice as expensive as it was, or so on and so forth. Okay, we gotta go collect some flowers. Got a hell of a lot of grass here, but let's see. cannot fully just ignore. At least I've got a decent amount of energy still. Yeah, what was I going to say within all of that? I don't know, just like minor things, paperwork, for example. Like, even beyond sick days, taxes and invoices have become kind of my biggest banes. That whenever I have to do, like, any kind of major paperwork, I end up in this, like, funk for ages where I just do not want to do anything. It is... I don't want to say it's impressive how much, like, having to send out paperwork can put me in a bad mood, but I usually have to, like, self-medicate with, JRPGs and manga for, like, hours afterwards just to, like, stop being a weird mess. And the thing is, like, there's no reason for it. It's just, like, a weird anxiety. I think most of it boils down to the idea of, like... I don't know if it's, like, imposter syndrome exactly, or if it's just, wow, we're barely taking any damage from transferring this. We're getting to the point where I can probably clear one of these fields. If I wanted to. I just don't know if prestiging really gets me what I'm looking for. But like a weird mixture of performance anxiety and imposter syndrome that is wearing away. You know, the longer I've been doing this for, the more games that I've showed off that actually do manage to, you know, do well, somewhat because of my interference, validates kind of the idea, ooh, those are starting to hurt. Okay, so we gotta stop. Kind of validates the idea of like, yeah, I am actually making a difference. I think it's just algorithms always kind of kick that back down where it's, you never feel, if you're a professional YouTuber, weirdly enough, you never feel like you're stable. Like, even if you get to like 500,000 subs, there's still that feeling of like, you know, this could all just fall apart. The algorithm could shift, I could mess up, I could put out too many duds. The games industry could have some problems, not release a whole lot of good games, and all of a sudden I'm stuck, you know, with a channel that can't go anywhere. Oh, didn't actually mean to do that. There we go. And it weighs on the mind. Go for more... Oh, right. We were going to go up here. Chance for roses to spawn. Okay, what else do we have? Flat energy armor. That should be good enough. It's tax season in the US. And so that's very much kind of on the mind of like, yeah, I have this thing that I need to deal with. It's just looming over my head. I don't know what it has to do with Lyca, apart from the fact that I'm just sitting here kind of alone in my thoughts. This is not a game that requires a whole lot of immediate, like, brain power, which is kind of why there probably is an idle mode later on. Let's see. But, at least on a personal level, I don't know, I appreciate the zen, but it does mean that, like, whatever is currently weighing on my subconscious becomes the topic of the day. And that's maybe fine. I don't know how much, like, behind the curtain stuff is actually interesting to people. I hope it's, like, vaguely interesting. One of the ones, kind of total random, but one of the lessons I had to learn with, like, doing this professionally was to put on pants. I know this sounds extremely weird. Like, the first couple of years of my channel, I'd been laid off. I'd worked at, like, a small animation studio. A game studio? Animation? It was both. I was doing animations. I was working at a small game studio and got laid off from that job because they didn't need me anymore. It's fine. But as part of working there, you know, normal human work hours, normal human work schedule. Mostly. I think they were much more flexible than many other workplaces that I could have ever worked at. But let's see. Keep snagging more. But after getting laid off, there was, you know, I was just living at home and then moved back in with my parents for prestige. Living with my parents just to save money. And as part of that, like, nobody saw me during my work hours, so I could just be wearing, you know, pajama pants nonstop. And that was fine. We're getting a hell of a lot of stuff here, which means we got to get these roses. So extra resource drop rate from roses. Better rose spawn rate. Yeah. We want to just get a bunch of roses because we're going to need them for a number of upgrades. Oh, we're not prestiged. Let's go back. Let's give that a shot, actually. It's probably going to take longer for me to break some of the soil. No. All right. This works. But so for a while, I was very much just kind of your classic, you know, just sitting around in pajama pants, not thinking too much about like appearances or taking care of myself. I got very beardy, and that was not great. Not like, okay, when I say very beardy, I mean like maybe an inch. As far as I go, that's very beardy. I'm sure for other people that's nothing. I've got friends who have massive beards, and yeah, I don't think I can do it. My neck gets so itchy, it's bad. And so I'd much rather just be mostly close crops. Still let it grow out a little bit, but still. But yeah, so there's just kind of this long period of time where I was just like, not exactly a full mess, but definitely messier than I currently am. After a certain point, I was just like, nope, you know what? This is actually impacting my work schedule. Because, I don't know, I think I was like in too casual of a mindset. It was too easy to just be like, eh. You know, I don't need to think too hard about any of these things. And then eventually I was like, no, actually, like, it's a good time to actually wear real clothes while I'm working. Pajama pants can be for when it's, you know, pajama pants time. Reading manga on the couch or whatever. Okay, so we got a decent amount. We definitely want the flower magnet upgrade. That is going to make a huge difference. Let's see. What else do we have? Chance to collect resources when they drop is amazing. Okay, 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4. Let's max both of those out. And let's probably go back and take a look at some of these more basic upgrades that I've been neglecting. Yeah, the chance to collect resources when they drop is huge, because that means I don't actually have to go back. We still get resources. I don't think I can ever get that up to 100%, but that's fine. I still wish there was like a resource that allowed you to limit break and upgrade. You know, if you really, really like it, and it could have like sliding scale values. Mostly just because, yeah, I'm very much obsessed with build crafting in these games. I guess if we want to take a hard left turn from me just being like, oh, working from home is weird. I was playing Ascension yesterday on stream. Okay, I was very much not there for that one. Okay, so the resources when they drop isn't super powerful. What we need to do is not wreck ourselves, is the big one. Because we need to let those flowers have plenty of time to output. There we go. I'm just gonna grab as much blue resources as I can. Because a lot of this stuff does auto-collect, and so I can rely on that. There we go. But so for Ascension, and this is just something that I've run into in a lot of games recently. With Ascension, every card you add to your deck kind of adds to your build in some way, shape, or form. And it creates this very strong feeling of like, this is what I've chosen to do this round. And I'm going to fine-tune it as best as possible. And I find a lot of games don't do a very good job of that. And so it kind of has become a long-term obsession of mine to play games that really allow me to express myself with like whatever my build is. And so even for like this one, yeah, if I could limit break a power and just say like, yeah, I like this, but I want another level of it. You know, what if I could keep extending my activation range or my flower attraction range just a little bit further every time? Okay, so we need a blue resource. Strength against terrain, but that's expensive. Let's max that out, because we're going to just want that. What else we have? Regen per second, reduce energy. Drain per second. Okay, more energy, but it's expensive. Let's max that one out. There we go. Oh. And I can boost my activation time. I think we've actually kind of capped out our sunflower upgrades. At least until we can find some more. Boy, look at that activation speed. But yeah, it would be kind of cool if I had more upgrades that allowed me to go like, you know, massive plant radius, or you never have to run over flowers ever again, or stuff like that. I've talked about this a gazillion times. I'm sure people are tired of me talking about it, but it's one of those where it's like, it still remains, I think, the one thing that would make a lot of these incremental games truly shine is just that ability to really specialize into something. There we go. Yeah, sometimes I can get it lined up, so I'm getting both sets of grass simultaneously. Okay. We've got to level up one more time, I think, before I can get what I'm really looking for here. Let's see. Because, yeah, it's going to be 5 level up points, and I currently only have 4. Yeah, it seems like going diagonally actually works. If I want to get maximum blue. At least it seems like it's easier to get the double lane grass collection. Okay, don't have much time left, so let's just beeline for flowers. There we go. Damn, we got a lot of blue from that one. Okay, so here's the earth round. I don't think we have anything else that needs a red. 1,000 energy. It's very pricey. Might still be worth it. I think I'm gonna leave it for a moment. Chance for rocks to spawn. We're gonna need that though. Okay. Yeah, it was about time to do that anyway. Yeah, so what I need actually is level up points more than anything else. Alright. Screw it. We're just gonna go break some ground. Because I could do so many other things, but I figure break ground, get experience. Because I like the flower collection, but I think we need to spawn and break rocks. Because that's our next resource that we get access to. There we go. Actually isn't hurting me too bad now that we have all of those low-hanging fruit upgrades. Problem is, this means that I'm not going to be able to get the flower collection upgrade like I'd like. But that's okay. Okay, so let's go upgrade and rocks. Damage to rocks, but no, we just want rocks to spawn. Reduce rock toughness. Resource when destroying rocks. Reduce damage to energy when destroying rocks. There we go. That's some stuff. Okay, so rocks aren't much of anything. We are good. So let's probably cordon off the I don't know, the lower half of this. I guess I could just beeline for rocks, though. That's not a bad idea. Because, yeah, if we destroy every rock on the map, that's the resource we need the most of, other than blue. And yeah, if I can figure out at some point how to just extend my bluegrass radius just by a smidge, that'd be extremely good. Yeah, so I think this works. Break every rock on the map, then switch to... let's see. Then switch to getting grass as much as possible. It's a much more, like, messy pathway. Pathway? Not able to get as much. I think we might also want to just invest kind of hard in Howl. You know, increase that range and increase its speed, because that might also be the trick. Okay. So what do we have that I can buy? Energy regen per second, flat energy armor, collection. Energy regen per second, sure. Okay, so Howl damage, Howl faster, Howl pulse radius. I'll give it the damage. Because we mostly want the Howl to be able to trigger the grass. That I'm passing by. And it seems like the AoE is pretty good. We just gotta get it to trigger so much more often. There we go. Should be a decent amount of space for me to run around in a little bit. Okay, snag the rest of this. Even then, Howl is kind of inconsistent. I guess it isn't that big of a deal. There we go. Yeah, rather than trying to be thorough in getting everything, I'm just going to try and go for the double lane as much as possible. Just really get as much as I can possibly snag. There we go. Like, okay, Howl's not terrible. Yeah, it's a decent amount. So what else do we have? Chance to spawn seeds that explode when touched. I like that. This should get us up to a 75% chance to collect all resources. I think I'm going to go for collect all first. Greater chance for rocks to spawn. Reduce rock toughness. And hopefully there's more to this talent tree, because it is starting to feel like we're clearing it out kind of fast. And maybe that's fine. You know, we max everything out, become extremely strong, and then speed through this game. The main question is, like, hopefully the tech tree gets bigger at some point. Let's see. The howl's still kind of intermittent. I guess it makes sense. It would be kind of weird if we were howling that much. Yeah, do we want to break every rock? Might as well. Part of the problem is we're not actually using that much of it. But whatever. There we go. I think that's a double path. Though I do think maybe, yeah, going on the diagonals might be better. Yeah, we're just trying to maximize the most amount of grass coverage I can get. I think we're mostly getting it. I don't know why. My brain is just immediately being sent back to... I think once again, when I'm playing one of these games where there's not much going on, my brain just wanders to strange places. So right now I'm just randomly thinking about, like, the James Bond movies I watched last year. Because Shell and I, we like to go shopping for... I don't want to say rare things, because it's not specifically rare. But it's fun collecting DVDs for various movies that we'll probably want to watch again and again. You know, just over and over and over again. Yeah, not like constantly, but just the idea of like, hey, we really enjoy... I don't know. Well, I mean, James Bond is the easiest example since that's what we'd been watching. But they had, like, I think every single Bond DVD for like half off or even less than that. So it was kind of one of those where it's like, sure. Well, Blu-rays, not DVDs. Sorry, I'm just so used to calling them that. And so, sure, yeah, we could get access to them via streaming service, which I don't actually even know which streaming service would have the Bond movies right now, and I don't care to know because I just don't want to be on streaming services anymore. I don't want subscriptions. Currently, the only subscriptions I have at the moment are like YouTube Premium, so I don't have to see ads. And also because I know it helps creators. You know, it's just a secondary money source? Question mark? I mean, it is. It's a secondary money source. Income source that is unrelated to ad rates. And like as a creator who gets, you know, funds from YouTube Premium is good. And so it'd be a hypocrite not to at least have it myself. And also, yes, it means I can watch YouTube videos without having to worry about ads, because God, I hate watching advertisements. It is not fun. I know people always say, well, just use an ad block, but it's like, then the YouTubers don't make any money, and that's worse. Like, I can't call myself a fan of somebody if I'm not willing to at least support them in some way, shape, or form. Because then I'm just leeching. Let's see. Where was I going with this? Right. So, want to stay away from streaming services in general, just because I don't get to keep anything from that. You know, once I've shut off the streaming service, it's gone. And also just, you know, these streaming services are so mercurial. It's like, oh, cool, Shadow and Bone. First 2 seasons, my wife really likes them. 3rd season canceled out of entirely, like, petty reasons because of the actor strike a couple years ago. And it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of tricky to want to be involved paying into a streaming service that is going to be just getting rid of all of their stuff at a moment's notice entirely because of any reason. Whoa, something deleted me. Must have been hitting the ground. Let's go up a prestige level. Let's see. It didn't actually break that many rocks that time, and that's fine. Probably maxes that out. Okay, go from here. Should be fine. I wonder if prestiging increases my income. I certainly hope it does. It should be a resource multiplier, I'd hope. But yeah, so it's been easier for me to just collect things physically. And also it's kind of nice. Like, with the streaming service, you don't have anything on your shelves. You don't have stuff that you can just point at and be like, yeah, that's mine. You know, it's kind of gone. And maybe that lack of attachment also meant that I just wasn't retaining much of what I watched. But I definitely remember, like, having streaming stuff and watching a lot of things. And, like, most of them just don't stick around. But weirdly enough, with the, like, going back and watching all the old Bond movies, there was very much this feeling of, like, really getting into them. Which I never really would have expected. I liked the Brosnan Bonds. I thought those were very good. And did not like Craig. Like, weird considering everybody loves the Daniel Craig movies. But in comparison, I found Brosnan to be a little bit more fun. Even if, like, some of his movies were pretty dour as well. I think that's when they were really pushing the whole, like, Bond has funny gadgets and strange technology that he can use for spy stuff, and, like, that was extremely compelling for me. Now it actually looks like we don't get anything extra for the higher prestige levels. It's just tougher. I guess it makes sense, though. It's a new wall to climb over, and I get idle mode after beating it. I was just hoping this tech tree would get bigger. Let's see. Well, we have enough. Let's grab the seed bombs. Okay. Damage from destroying ground, armor, that. Alright. Right. And I might as well increase my chances of rocks spawning. There we go. And I think the seeds will also, yeah, regreen things as well. I probably should have beelined for them earlier. I really like the seed bombs. I think they're extremely good. But it is fine. Let's see. So what was I going to say with this? But yeah, I find myself often thinking back to some of the plots of the Bond movies being like, yeah, that actually was kind of good. Or alternatively, I also go back and think, what were they thinking? I think are there any franchises that are as ridiculously prolific as Bond? Doctor Who, I think, is probably the only other immediate example I can think of, with just the sheer number of actors and tonal shifts in various ways. And I find that kind of charming and weird in a way. I think this is something I think about kind of often in terms of, like, media consumption, the endless churn, but also the weird stagnancy it kind of feels like we're stuck in. You know, that... When was the last time we actually had, like, a big breakout IP? I can't think of one. Like, I legitimately... In video games, there have been a couple. You know, Remnant from the Ashes is probably one of the... I don't want to say necessarily more successful video games. But going from, like, a pretty solid AA background... in the ashes of Vigil Entertainment to a next prestige level, which gets us idle mode, which maybe gets us some more upgrades. Who knows? I think part of it is these seed bombs have made it much easier to break ground, because they'll just instantly destroy ground for me. So it meant I wasn't destroying myself as hard here. Well, auto run is now on. What else do we have? Armor roses, rock toughness. Max those out. One more of those. Okay. Explosion radius of seed bombs, damage for seed bombs. Alright, and that's it. So I don't think I have anything else I can invest into. So let's take a look. What do these require? Challenges tab. Restore energy from activating grass and chance for snow to spawn. Ooh, but pricey. Oh wait, hold up. End run. Go back to upgrade. We leveled up, but I should be on the latest prestige level. Do we just run until we bounce off a wall? We have become a screensaver. Sure, why not? It doesn't bug me. Like, this is kind of the natural end result for a game like this. And we were moving diagonally, which I did say is probably the superior way of activating grass, potentially. But it is fascinating, the idea, you know, just to go back to the Bond movies or Doctor Who or whatever, that some of these franchises are never allowed to die. I think of kind of the same thing with, like, Marvel movies, for example. I like Marvel movies. I think they've kind of lost their way lately, largely owing to the fact that, you know, business executives are making most of the decisions, as opposed to, you know, actual writers, directors, and artists. Or even the actors, and so there's kind of that feeling of like, this is overly corporate and not in a good way. And so, what's a good example? I don't know. I'm thinking of like the most recent Snow White movie. I haven't seen it, but there's something just like, I'm almost gonna say chemical about some of these products after a while, where it starts feeling like it was made with an algorithm or made in a lab or whatever. Designed to hit the most amount of narrative notes that they possibly can. You know, here's the quirky family that, you know, helps the hero out. Here's the, what's a good example? I don't know, the villain with a tragic backstory that still needs to be put down. The main character who maybe isn't even capable of doing things on their own and has to rely on other people because, oh, we almost got to the next prestige level. Okay, well, let's get the challenges tab. Chance to do double damage to terrain. Currency converter shop. Collects 25,000 in a single run. Unfortunately, we need a little bit more for that one, I think. I don't have to do anything to trigger that. Okay, so let's go back up here very briefly. Because I know I want to save my other resources, but we should max out those. A little bit more movement speed would actually go super far on this one, but it's fine. Anyway, but yeah, just so many of these games come off, or games, movies, and TV shows come off as feeling very artificial, very inauthentic, that they were made by somebody else. Or not even somebody else, it wasn't really made by humans. It was just made by a content machine to hit whatever, you know, content targets there are. And maybe, you know, I'm just jaded and getting older and going back and watching some old stuff. But, like, that's not the case, though, because I go back and watch old stuff, and it's like, no, actually, some of this was better. Sometimes. Part of the reason why I'm thinking about this is we tried to go back and watch Battlestar Galactica, the original one. And, yeah, neither Shell or I had ever seen it before, and they were selling it for, like, $20 for the whole original series, except for the 1981 that was never finished. It was, like, technically a sequel. Anyway. And I was up for it because I knew my dad really liked Battlestar Galactica when he was younger. And so I was like, sure, why not? You know, it's probably good, right? And I found myself cringing so hard that I actually had to, like, stop. I don't necessarily know how much of it was, like, fully the show's fault and how much of it is just, like, the time that it was made in. But I found myself just uncomfortable with a lot of it. The plot holes, the writing, the characterization. You know, the visuals weren't bad, but the whole thing felt like it very much had been rushed out in a attempt to capitalize on the popularity of Star Wars. And like, they actually got sued specifically because of those similarities. Like, to some degree, like, it's inevitable if you're going to do like a space epic kind of game. If you're trying to do like a space epic show or piece of media, like inevitably you were going to run into some level of similarities that's kind of hard to escape. But there were parts of it that it was just like, okay, this is shameless. Like the main character calling themselves Red Leader. That was just like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's what Star Wars did. It was one of those shows that felt like it could have actually been great, perfect even, if it had been made by, or if it had had a little bit more time to cook independently of Star Wars. Where they had like really dialed into like what they wanted to do and really built like an interesting and original universe. But instead they had like kind of hokey stuff, like the main characters were wearing somewhat Egyptian inspired space helmets that just looked kind of goofy and didn't really match the rest of their technology. Like, you want to do that, that's what the Goa'uld were. I think it was the Goa'uld from Stargate. And I think Stargate is a good example of this, of like how did it handle original sci-fi, you know, independent of Star Wars or Star Trek, and I think they nailed it, at least for SG-1. I've never seen Atlantis or any of the companion media. I think we tried watching a little bit of the animated series and it was kind of cringe. But I think the animated series had multiple issues, so... But I don't really know where I'm going with this topic, just something that's been sitting on my brain for a while. And to go back to, I guess, kind of to go back to why I'm drawn to even games like this is that, like, this is a screensaver. Somebody turned a screensaver into a video game and it's actually fun. Like, I don't think I'm going to be doing any more videos on it, just because, you know, ultimately there's not much else to show. I mean, maybe there's plenty of upgrades. I could definitely use it as, like, podcast background footage, and that wouldn't be terrible. I've already virtually used it for that. And I think it's a good state for a game to be in, somewhat. I don't know, like, sometimes there are games where it's just kind of nice to let it run itself, or to brain off and just let it do its own thing. I think I will still say, like, on a personal level, I was really hoping that this would have a little bit more deep build crafting, that it just got taller and never got wider. But also recognize and respect that the developers didn't want to give, like, too much, because either too much power or too much stuff would make it too easy. Or maybe I just haven't gone far enough. Like, I don't know. The current goals are kind of pricey, but considering we just unlocked challenges and it's giving me like 10 green resources, I don't know what I'm spending that on. And so presumably there's going to be stuff to spend it on. Who knows? Maybe it's one of those where I can go back and upgrade the things I've already got on the talent tree. We just need to go a little bit further to unlock, like, the ability to prestige abilities or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. But I did have fun with this one. I think it's one of the more inventive incremental games, which is saying something because, like I said, a lot of incremental games are just doing weird shit. And that, like, I am inexorably, I am drawn to, hey, can we turn a glorified screensaver into a good incremental game? And the answer is, yeah, you can. And that's wild to me. Okay. So this is chance for snow to spawn. Reduce snow toughness. Higher chance for snow to spawn, but we can't afford more. Green dew. Well, I might as well grab frost. What else do we have down here? Minus damage to energy when melting snow. More resources from snow. Just gonna probably tick those down. So what does snow get us? Oh god, that's a lot of snow. I was expecting it to be like an amount. Okay, so there might actually be a lot to this game left, and I just have to keep going for a while. We'll see. But for now, at least, I might as well mention... Whoa. I'm gonna just dump us down a prestige level. That was rough. Because, yeah, we weren't able to get any kind of progression. So what is the point of snow? Because it's not dropping a resource for me. Unless it's a ton of experience? I actually do not know. And now I can't turn it off. I'm actually in trouble, kind of. I mean, I'll snag that upgrade, because I think we need it. But yeah, it currently doesn't provide a meaningful benefit from what I can tell. And it kills me super duper fast, because the damage we take scales insanely high. I mean, I guess it could throw us on the most basic difficulty levels. Because as far as I can tell, prestige levels don't really give that much more for resources. But yeah, if snow dropped something, it would have already. I am actually confused. Unless the resource isn't in the game yet. I don't know. Let's go back to upgrades. Just go back down to Prestige 1 and just see what happens. There we go. Anyway, I guess I might as well mention at this point that Lyca is now available on Steam, so if you do want to pick it up and play it yourselves, just follow the link in the description below. It's an interesting little incremental game. I wouldn't say it's anything that I don't think I would call it a groundbreaking one, even though, yes, har, that is very much the point of the game. But, oh, we're actually, we're sitting in a net positive for resources. That's funny. But I wouldn't say it's exactly a groundbreaking incremental game, but as far as, like, a thing that you can play and then eventually just kind of idle your way through, or continue to play actively. There is literally no reason why you can't. Just have this, you know, turn off auto run and just let it do its own thing. I can't reach the options from this menu, which is a little tragic, but is what it is. Anyway, it's neat. It's definitely worth picking up if you want something a little bit different, or if you just want to chill for a while. The music really puts you into a zen state, as evidenced by my inability to stay on topic. I'm just everywhere. And that's fine. Anywho, I guess with all of that said, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like. It helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new games every single day, then hit subscribe, because I got tons to check out and show off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.